Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Broke But Ballin', the only show that explains how Manchester United can be on the brink of financial collapse and still outspend your entire life savings on a forward who hasn't even hit his peak yet. You might have heard the news. Worst domestic season in half a century, no European football. We were almost bust at Christmas. Sounds like a club in crisis, right? A club that should be selling off the team bus and holding a car wash to afford new cleats. But this is Manchester United we're talking about. The only club where bust is a state of mind, not a financial reality. So, how exactly are they pulling off these massive deals? Let's dive into the magical, nonsensical world of United's transfer budget. 1. The game of loans and leaps of faith. Manchester United has done it again. They've signed two new players, Matheus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo, for a combined £127.5 million. And if you think that's a lot, remember they haven't sold a single player for money this summer. It's like buying a new wardrobe while your old clothes are still piled up in the corner with the tags on. Now they've closed on Benjamin Sesko for a cool €85 million, and they're also sniffing around for Brighton's Carlos Baleba. This club doesn't just sign players, they collect them like Pokemon cards, even when they're not sure if they have enough binder space. The club's transfer spending is so unpredictable, it's less like a strategy and more like an episode of a chaotic reality TV show. Every week, a new star is on the chopping block, while United's scouting team is apparently spending its entire budget on a roulette wheel, betting big on players from obscure leagues. This is a club that buys first, asks questions later, and then hopes a "here we go" from Fabrizio Romano magically solves all its financial problems. It's a bold strategy: spend first, think later, and pray someone else's sell-on clause bails you out. It's like going to a restaurant and ordering the most expensive thing on the menu, then realizing you only have $1 in your wallet and hoping a friend of a friend's uncle will pay the bill. Manchester United's transfer strategy is like a teenager with a credit card. They see something they want, they buy it, and they'll deal with the consequences later. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the long-suffering parent who keeps getting the bills in the mail. The club's financial report is like a choose-your-own-adventure book. Did we lose money this season? Turn to page 47. Are we still buying players? Turn to page 83. United's PSR calculation is apparently based on Red Football Limited, which is a great name for a tax loophole. It's like a magical shield that protects them from their own spending habits. They're not worried about PSR. They're basically playing the financial version of the floor is lava. They just have to make sure they don't touch the ground and they'll be fine. This is the only club where no European footballs and crippling debt are met with the response, "Great, let's sign a new striker for £75 million. 2. The art of the net transfer debt. So how do you spend so much when you have no cash? Easy. You just don't pay everyone all at once. United's net transfer debt has exploded from under £100 million to a staggering £308.9 million. This isn't a club. It's a modern art installation made of IOUs and vague promises. They wanted a 5-year installment plan for Cunha but only got 3. That's a red flag, right? A clear sign that the bank manager is starting to get nervous. But for United, that's just a small bump in the road. A minor inconvenience on their way to financial ruin, or glory. Whatever happens first. United's transfer debt isn't just a number. It's a living, breathing entity that grows bigger with every new signing. They're basically playing the financial version of the floor is lava. They have to keep spending to stay afloat, all while trying to outrun the mountain of debt that's now bigger than the Glazers' ego. It's a beautifully complex and terrifying ecosystem, where the only thing being sold is the promise of future success to pay for the past's failures. They've already borrowed £160 million from their corporate overdrafts. That's not a club, that's a student who just discovered payday loans, and they're looking to borrow even more. At this point, the Bank of America is probably just a United fan who keeps saying, "Just one more signing, I swear." United's transfer debt is the kind of debt you have to pay with a different kind of debt. It's a beautifully complex and terrifying ecosystem. The club's CFO must have a calendar full of little post-it notes that say, "Today, pay off part of our overdraft. Tomorrow, ask for a bigger overdraft." They are the human embodiment of the phrase, "I may be broke, but I have good credit." It's a miracle they still have access to a revolving credit facility. Maybe the banks just feel sorry for them. United's financial plan is basically a massive Ponzi scheme where the only thing being sold is the promise of future success. The new investors are their new players. 3. The cash is optional mindset. It turns out United's PSR woes are less than once recently thought. That's just beautiful corporate speak for we found a loophole. It's like finding a £50 note in an old pair of jeans and deciding to buy a sports car with it. They're saving money on staff cuts, which is great. I'm sure those former employees will be thrilled to hear that their sacrifice helped the club pay for a new striker. This club's financial strategy is less about making a profit and more about creative accounting. They're like a professional gambler who wins big by betting on a horse he used to own. They're getting a cut of other clubs' success and then using that money to buy more players they probably can't afford. It's a genius business model that only works if you're Manchester United and you're just hoping the cash is optional mindset lasts forever. And they're also benefiting from sell-on fees from players they sold a long time ago. So in a way, other clubs are just United's personal piggy banks. It's a genius strategy. Let other people do the hard work of selling your former players and you just sit back and collect the cash. Jadon Sancho's failed loan move to Chelsea earned United £5 million. That's the equivalent of selling a used car and getting a massive bonus because the new owner couldn't figure out how to drive it. The club's stronger operating cash flows are the financial equivalent of finding a loose 20 in your sofa cushions. It's a nice surprise, but it doesn't solve the core problem of being skint. They have a cash balance of £73.2 million, which sounds like a lot until you realize they owe £308.9 million. It's like having $100 and a $5,000 credit card bill. The club's motto is no longer glory, glory Man United. It's debit, debit Man United. 4. The grand finale. Selling Rasmus Højlund. And now for the pièce de résistance. The rumor that United might sell Rasmus Højlund just 2 years after buying him. They bought him for £64 million, and they're considering offers of £30 million. That's a £34 million loss on a player who, just a few months ago, was considered the future of the club. This isn't a football club, it's a clearance sale. Get your slightly used striker here. Only played for 1.5 seasons. Some wear and tear, but we're willing to take a massive hit. The potential sale of Højlund is the ultimate comedy of errors. They spent a king's ransom on a player only to realize a year later they should have spent it on a different player. Now they're trying to sell him for a loss to a team like AC Milan, while he's reportedly telling everyone he wants to stay. It's a tragic comedy that perfectly encapsulates the club's transfer policy. Buy high, sell low, and then wonder why you're broke. This is the most Man United thing ever. They'll lose millions on Højlund only to turn around and spend even more on Sesko. It's a beautiful self-destructive cycle of madness that only a club like this could pull off. Selling Højlund for a loss is the financial equivalent of setting your own money on fire to light a new candle. Rasmus Højlund's value has decreased faster than a brand new iPhone a week after it's released. Højlund might want to stay, but when your club is selling you for a fraction of what they paid, it's a pretty clear signal that it's time to start packing your bags. This is the part of the show where we realize the real transfer strategy was just buy everyone, and then sell them for a loss to afford the next guy. Closing thoughts. A legacy of spending. So there you have it. The secret to Manchester United's spending power isn't a brilliant financial model or a wealthy owner. It's a combination of borrowing, accounting loopholes, and a willingness to sell off their own players at a massive loss. It's a beautiful, chaotic mess, and it's why they're never ignored. Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe for more football banter. And remember, if you ever feel bad about your credit card debt, just remember that Manchester United's is probably worse. See you next time.